Welcome. This tour is going to focus on two famous painters from the 17th century, French painter Jean-Antoine Watteau and Italian painter Michelangelo Medici de Caravaggio. We're going to talk about three paintings from each artist and describe, analyze, interpret, and appreciate their works of art. The Baroque period is the best way to describe the European art of the 17th century. Baroque, although being associated with the Portuguese word barroco, or irregular shaped pearl, does not clearly indicate this art style began in Portugal. In this period, we will study the works of Michelangelo Medici de Caravaggio. The Taking of Christ was painted in between 1602 and 1603. It represents the evening before Good Friday, when Jesus Christ is captured by soldiers who were led to him by Judas Iscariot. Let's take a closer look at his work. Notice how he uses light and shadow to show what needs to be seen. What is hidden in shadows does not affect the image and allows us to imagine the rest based on what we do see. The composition is amazing. If you notice, all heads are in a line shaped as an arc, guiding the viewer's eyes through the whole picture by focusing on Jesus. Jesus is also the only character facing the viewer. The angle in which Jesus and Judas stand indicate Jesus being pushed by Judas while knights approach to arrest him. Their facial expressions clearly demonstrate their actions. Judas is determined to get his financial reward. Jesus seems sorry for having been betrayed, yet will not struggle or fight back. Another impressive characteristic of this painting are how well he mimics texture. It is clear here that the knight's armor is of hard metal and the clothes of soft fabric. The Incredulity of St. Thomas, painted around 1601 and 1602, is the best representation for the term seeing is believing. In this painting, we see Thomas with his index finger inside Jesus' wound. Thomas, who had missed one of Christ's appearance to the apostles, said he would not believe what he had been told unless he could thrust his hand into Christ's side. A week later, Christ appears, and after Thomas had touched him, said, "Blessed are those who have not seen, and yet have believed." Again, let's take a closer look at this amazing painting. Here it seems Caravaggio played with the directions of the heads to guide the viewers through his painting again. While everyone looks to the left in Jesus' direction, Jesus looks down. Jesus also is wearing brighter clothes and has a lighter skin tone than the rest. Do notice how neither Thomas nor Jesus looked directly at the wound, almost as if they did not want to look at what they were doing. The other two that watch seem very curious and somewhat disgusted with what they see. We can also see how there is no blood in Jesus' wound anymore. The Sacrifice of Isaac is a painting that radiates with anxiety and fear. We see Abraham about to sacrifice his son as requested by God, but stopped by an angel who suggested sacrificing a sheep instead. This is the only painting out of the three shown here where Caravaggio painted a background rather than the dark, almost pitch black background. Let's take a closer look. Here we can see how he created the highlights of the fine lines of hair. The expression on Isaac's face is of terror and struggle as his father pushes his fingers into his cheeks. Now looking at Isaac's eyes, he looks straight at the viewer, as if begging for you to help. As you could see, Caravaggio strived for perfect imitation of reality. Form, light, and color were in his total control, and he used it well. Jean-Antoine Watteau is the most famous painter of the French Rococo period. This period was primarily a style of interior design. The term comes from the French word rocaille, or small pebble, probably due to its gentle nature. The paintings we are going to see next show gatherings and festivity. People are enjoying life. There is music, dancing, pets, and love. The Pilgrimage to Cythera, painted between 1718 and 1719, shows people celebrating the either arrival or departure to Cythera in Greece, where the goddess was said to have first landed and where she had a celebrated temple. This image, however, may not be the original created by Watteau. There are many replications of this painting, making it difficult to rule out the original. Some don't have as much detail as this one, and some just don't look good at all. Let's take a closer look at this version. We notice how the human form is near perfect, although the use of color does not focus on realism. One very interesting thing we notice about this painting is how he does not limit his painting to only one subject. He may set a focus point, but there's other actions happening around the painting. Here we see a young man coming out of the bushes, offering this young lady something I cannot make out. But she seems to be refusing it, and he seems to be questioning her decision. Meanwhile, angels play everywhere. They even play with the statue of another angel, causing the illusion that the statue is also alive. Le Plaisir du Bal, Pleasures of the Ball, is one of my favorite paintings Watteau created. At first glance, we see a gathering in a very high ceiling structure with beautiful pillars and a soft background. This painting is using only one vanishing point, and it works seamlessly. You can find this vanishing point by using the floor as reference. Notice how he used less saturated colors to indicate distance and more saturated and warmer colors on the people to keep them in focus. Let's take a closer look at the details. In this painting, there are several different breeds of dogs. This dog seems to be scratching himself. There are also many musicians. People are chatting, flirting, drinking, and dancing. The use of highlights really gives this painting life, from the pillars, to the dresses, to the small highlights in the glassware that makes us aware of their transparency. In Amusements Chamitres, from 1718, shows two little girls in dresses appropriate for their time. We nowadays would say they dress like dolls. The innocence is shown by their action. The smallest one pulls the dog against his will and without fear of how the dog is reacting, perhaps due to her age not having knowledge of danger. The oldest one seems aware of the danger and slants back as if getting ready to protect herself or run away. The dog is obviously not happy. Let's take a closer look. Here we can see the brushstrokes in the little girl's dress and how they seem to make the dress move or stretch as she pulls the dog away. The fine brushstrokes of the dog's fur make it look a bit realistic. While researching his art, I noticed his style and how the background has some brush strokes that are too bold and too expressionist for his style. Due to the hard time I had finding information on this painting and the poor resource, I can't be sure this painting is a work of Antoine Watteau, but nevertheless a good painting. Hope you have enjoyed the tour. It was a pleasure making it. This is Martino. Hope you have a good one.